Well, Victorian scientists have made a breakthrough in using antibodies to treat coronavirus as one of 17 coronavirus projects funded by the state government. Antibody therapies are already used to treat some forms of cancer treatment and immune disorders, but could it be effective in combating COVID-19? Let's get the answer to that and your COVID questions by Dr. Chris Moy coming in, of course, AMA Vice President, also a practicing GP, and from Streaky Bay today. Maybe you're working for SA Tourism. Let's get straight into this. So, Victorian government talking about antibody treatments. I was intrigued these could be used for people with COVID, but also before, these sort of risk groups. So it almost acts like a vaccine as well. How does this work?
So it's passive. So what happens is that the antibodies are artificially created and developed, and then they're injected into you, and then they attack whatever you want it to attack. So for COVID, obviously, it's to neutralise the COVID virus. In cancer, it's to kill cancer cells. So this is one form of treatment. It's very preliminary in terms of COVID. There are other, and I suppose just to get confusing because you're comparing it with natural vaccination, which is the Edward Jenner 1796 vaccination theory, which is basically where you get a protein, which is either a virus or similar to the virus that you're trying to create, like similar to COVID, the virus, you inject it into you, and your body develops its own immunity and develops its own antibodies. So this is different in that you're actually passively creating some artificial ones and injecting them directly into your body. But it is very early, but it's another exciting possibility, but still a fair way off.
Yeah, well, the more the better. And on to antibodies as well. A lot of interest in what's happening, that reinfection is possible. So that's the downside. The positive is that reinfection is not as bad. Essentially, any chance of a serious hospital admission or a death seems to be reduced. So that would be the good thing about being able to live with COVID, I guess, if we're talking about antibodies spreading through the community.
Yeah, I think I've been saying before that there's been concern about the possibility of reinfection. This may be because the vaccine is actually changing, or because the fact that coronaviruses in general have never sort of always shown that we can develop long-term immunity. One of the thoughts is that you may actually get a COVID infection, and you may be able to get infected later, and hopefully the next time you won't get it as badly. And there has been one case which appears to be picked up where that has been the case. So that is a hopeful thought, that even though you may catch it again, it won't be as bad the next time because your body has some memory of it in some way at least.
And just finally, a huge drop-off in flu deaths has been noted. This will be the good side. This is obviously not going through the community in the same way. But so many unknowns about what else might be happening. One example, cancer detection and how far that might be down. We won't know the true impact of that for years.
Oh, yes, but let's just talk about flu. Flu's been amazing, really, in terms of the fact that so far this year there's been 36 confirmed deaths from flu versus about 480 confirmed deaths at the same time last year. Now, you get the figures, that's there's been about 500 to 600 deaths of COVID, which have obviously been a tragedy, but we may have actually saved about 450 people from flu. So, it does show what, first up, physical distancing does, and good hygiene, and maybe something as a community we need to relearn for the future. But also, the other thing is that the vaccination campaign this year has been really good. We've vaccinated more than 2 million more people than we did last year, so that's clearly had an effect as well. So well done to Australia, because that's actually made a difference and to some degree offset what's happened with COVID.